Bau lieben Mannen in Uniform. Women love men in uniform. The basic uniform for Austria-Hungary in World War I was introduced in 1907 to 1908 in a series of reforms and modernizations. Uniforms were made from hit grau or field grey, while leather was in natural colours that would darken over time. It was a dual monarchy, so there were differences between the Austrian style of uniform and the Hungarian style of uniforms. Uniforms were based on region, origin, traditions, branches of service, and even ethnicity. Slovenians, for instance, would have worn the German-Austrian style of uniform, since it was in the Austrian part of the empire, while the Polish Uhlans would have worn the Polish-Hungarian style with the Polish Hussar tradition. The infantry would have still worn the Austro-German or even Hungarian uniforms in the Landwehr or the Honved, with minor differences mostly in hats or lining of the uniforms. The Polish would have worn the Mojelka hat, while the Bosnians with Muslim traditions and religious codes wore a fez. The field grey would have been switched out for the more modest felt grau. This colour would remain the same until the end of the war. The felt cape would have been in these same colours as well, from het grau to felt grau during the war. They were fastened at the front with two golden buttons. A giant button on the top of the cape either had FJI, Franz Joseph Imperator, or IJF for Hungarian Royal Troops, though both of these may have stand for Franz Joseph I. The Jaegers wore the iconic bugle horns at the front as well. Most felt capes were replaced by steel helmets where they could during the war. They adopted the German-style helm with some minor changes, and the Austro-Hungarians actually tried to make their own helmets, called the Brendorf helmets. Another rarity was the felt cape without a visor, but mostly reserved for Islamic cultures to pray so their heads may touch the floor, but the Jaegers wore them for ease of use, and also the visor may obstruct their vision. There were two colours, red and brown for parade wear, while the het grau or the field grey was for active duty. They were made of lamb's wool and had lamb's tassels as well, and these were either black for red and of course grey for grey. Non-Muslims of these regiments or even officers were permitted to wear the felt cape, most officers being Austro-Hungarian. The tunic of the Austro-Hungarian Empire was elegant but heavy. Later in the war it was made to be more comfortable and had more pockets for practicality. In 1914 there was a cloth to keep the soldier's neck from rubbing against the collar. The tunic was sealed with 6 concealed buttons, and a shoulder roll was attached to keep the soldier's sling from the rifle from falling off. There were colours on the tip of the collar which was from the 1860s to recognise the units. It was a hassle as some were the same colour but in different shades, so wine red and then plain red. The pants were straight cut woolen trousers, but the Austrians would brace them at the hip and then stop them at knee length and then support them by gaiters, while the Hungarians would wear a vital cortez, a knot at the hip to support the trousers. They would only have 4 buttons as well to close their tunic and would have 2 side pockets on the hip. A waist clasp was introduced to help the comfort of the individual soldiers. The boots were standard hobnail boots of the Austro-Hungarian Empire. And the last piece of standard uniform was the belt, a metal buckle with the stamp of the double eagle of the Austro-Hungarian Empire and the Habsburg Empire. The soldier could carry up to 2 ammunition pouches, 2 clips of 5 rounds, 40 plus 5 in the magazine. By 1915 the war had already taken its toll, and the leather was replaced by canvas or cotton replacements. The infantryman would carry a leather tornister on his back. Here he would store extra ammunition, extra food, extra clothes and even a pot for cooking, but it was replaced by a canvas knapsack instead. The rank would be indicated on the collar with stars and colours on the tip of the general or officer. Officer stars were silver or gold, non-commissioned officers or NCOs were white bone or celluloid. The war had taken its toll again and they were replaced by metal or cloth replacements. Metallic trends were replaced by silk. Junior NCOs would have worn a white celluloid star and senior officers would have worn a white celluloid star with yellow stars. Deputy officers also wore metal stars. The captains and lieutenants would have gold or silver embroidered stars, and the senior officers had 3.3 centimeters of gold lace on the collar or the collar patch. They also had a contrast with each other, so gold stars on silver lace. Gold lace were also put on the cuffs of the uniform of the general staff. They had 8 centimeter long patches with the height of the collar. The generals had golden stars with golden lace 3.3 centimeters yet again. Alright, that's the end of Austro-Hungarian uniforms. Thanks again for watching, but before we go, we're gonna actually... Alright, thanks for watching. Okay, that's the end of the video. Thanks for watching Austro-Hungarian uniforms, but before we go, we're gonna list down some accessories right here, right now for you. So we have the snow goggles, mostly for use in the winter months against Russia, or year round in the Alps. They mostly had the German model style of gas mask for everyday gas mask use. The main ethnicities had their own little flavour as well, such as the Bosnian fez, the Polish Mojelka hat, the Italian style Bucieris hat with giant feathers, artillery with giant black cords and even a golden helmet for sappers. Giant helmets for the dragoons, military officers' caps with field artillery caps, the Honved hussars with red lace on the blue coats over the tunic, almost like a cape, the medical corps with their red crosses, armbands, and the medical helmets, and even the officers of the lifeguard regiment wore a giant hat with feathers similar to Franz Joseph I. Even the adjacents had their own hats, but all these hats and all these accessories were for the common troops. Most soldiers, however, would have to scavenge and loot for their clothes, as the fighting would destroy their clothes, and even loot off of their former comrades. Well, this is war. This is modern war. Thanks for watching, hope you enjoyed, and I hope it was not... Alright, just re-recording this. There seems to be an audio glitch at the end, so it's just like this slow, like very loud humming noise, so hopefully I got what I had to say, but if it didn't, thanks for watching, hope you learned something. And you know, you have to dress dapper, but sometimes you have to take the clothes off your fallen comrades, or even the sapogis, which were a very common, actually pillaging type of thing that you would do. Take the sapogis off the Russians and, you know, wear them because they're the most comfortable boots in the world. Anyway, hope you learned something, and I hope you had a good time. And remember to stay dapper, my friends. Yeah, I was gonna make a joke about, you know, those YouTube clothes, you know, but, you know, this is my side of YouTube, so, you know, you gotta look dapper, gotta look fresh, so enjoy yourselves, learn something.